Have you ever wondered why the most composed individuals often choose silence over speaking? There's undeniable strength in knowing what to reveal and what to keep private. In a society that constantly encourages openness, true wisdom often lies in holding back. The ancient Stoics grasped this concept. They believed that while sharing can bring connection, it can also expose us to unnecessary risks. As we journey through life, especially in our later years, we begin to understand that not every thought or detail needs to be shared. Privacy goes beyond secrecy. It's about self-control, preserving dignity, and safeguarding peace of mind. In an age where personal information is easily accessible, being selective about what you share is more important than ever. In this video, we'll explore 8 essential things you should keep to yourself. Practical lessons inspired by Stoic philosophy that can help you maintain inner calm, protect your reputation, and live with quiet confidence. This isn't about shutting people out. It's about recognizing when silence serves you better than words. Before you speak, consider, will sharing this truly benefit you, or could it diminish your personal power? Join me as we dive into these timeless insights and discover how discretion can lead to a more resilient and fulfilling life. If these ideas resonate with you, let me know your thoughts at the end. Let's get started. 1. Age often comes with hidden judgments. Imagine enjoying a conversation at a social event when someone suddenly asks, "How old are you?" Though the question seems harmless, your answer can quickly lead to assumptions. If you're young, people may think you lack maturity. If you're older, they might believe your best days are behind you. But should age really dictate how others perceive your value? Stoic wisdom emphasizes that what matters most is how you use your time, not how long you've lived. Marcus Aurelius reminded us to act with urgency, as life's end is never guaranteed. Society tends to place people into categories based on their age, limiting how they are seen. Youth is often mistaken for inexperience, while age is unfairly associated with decline. Yet true wisdom stems from experiences and personal growth, not the number of birthdays you've celebrated. Take the example of a man in his 60s who decided to open a cafe after retirement. Many questioned why he'd start something new at that stage of life, but he pursued his dream regardless. His cafe flourished, becoming a hub for people of all ages. Had he let age-based doubts stop him, he would have missed out on that fulfillment. In a culture obsessed with staying young, people are bombarded with products and ideas promising to reverse aging. Older voices are often overlooked in discussions about the future. However, as Seneca observed, many live as though life is endless while wasting precious moments. Choosing not to share your age isn't about hiding. It's about avoiding unnecessary stereotypes. When people aren't focused on your age, they judge you based on your energy, wisdom, and actions. Your value isn't measured by a number, but by how you live. So the next time someone asks about your age, pause and consider, does this really define who I am? 2. Money. Keeping your financial matters private is more important than most people realize. Imagine experiencing a sudden financial windfall. Perhaps you've won a prize or received an unexpected inheritance. Overcome with excitement, you decide to share this news with those close to you. Initially, it feels good to celebrate your fortune, but soon you notice subtle shifts in how people treat you. An old acquaintance reaches out with a once-in-a-lifetime investment pitch. A friend casually mentions needing a quick loan, emphasizing how temporary it would be. Even social outings start to feel different. Suddenly, there's an unspoken assumption that you'll cover the bill. Whether or not you choose to help, the way people relate to you changes, and not always for the better. Now imagine the opposite situation. Times are tough, and you confide in a few trusted individuals about your financial struggles. Instead of understanding, you're met with unsolicited solutions or thinly veiled judgment. Some might pity you, while others treat you as though you failed. Regardless of whether you have plenty or little, discussing your financial situation can alter how people perceive and interact with you. Stoic philosophy teaches that wealth isn't about the size of your bank account. It's about your freedom from unnecessary wants. Epictetus wisely noted that true wealth lies not in what you possess, but in being content with what you have. When you choose to keep your finances private, you preserve your dignity and autonomy. More importantly, you prevent others from reducing you to a number or making assumptions about your worth. Money, whether abundant or scarce, has the potential to complicate relationships. If you're well off, your generosity can morph into a perceived obligation. If you're facing financial hardship, people might underestimate you or offer condescending advice. Why allow money to shape how others treat you? By keeping your financial affairs to yourself, you take control of the narrative and protect yourself from external pressures. There's a saying that money speaks loudly, but real wealth is quiet. Those who are truly secure, financially, emotionally, and intellectually, don't need to broadcast their success. They understand that true prosperity is about how you live, not how you're perceived. Whether you're thriving or tightening your belt, your financial journey is personal and doesn't need to be public knowledge. In maintaining that privacy, you gain something far more valuable than money: peace of mind and the freedom to live on your own terms. In the end, silence can be the most powerful statement of all. 3. Medications. Your health is one of the most personal parts of your life, yet people often treat it like casual conversation. Imagine you're enjoying a relaxing evening at a friend's gathering when someone suddenly asks, "Are you taking any medications?" Though it may seem like an innocent question, answering it can dramatically change how you're viewed. Instead of being seen for your personality or achievements, you risk being defined by an illness or condition. Conversations that once focused on your passions may shift toward endless advice, sympathy, or uninvited stories about similar health issues. What begins as simple curiosity can quickly feel invasive. Philosophies like Stoicism emphasize that while you can't always control what happens to you, you can decide how to respond. Your health status is deeply personal, and revealing too much can lead others to impose their fears, judgments, or pity on you. Consider Mark, a man in his early 60s, who mentioned to a few colleagues that he was managing a health condition. Soon, people began treating him differently. Meetings were cut short to not tire him out, and coworkers constantly asked how he was feeling, even when he wanted to focus on work. Mark found that his diagnosis overshadowed his abilities and contributions. Why does privacy about your health matter? Because how others perceive you can shape your opportunities and interactions. Oversharing can invite assumptions that limit you, even if they're well-intentioned. People may treat you more delicately or exclude you from activities, believing they're helping when they're actually creating distance. Protecting your privacy means preserving how you are seen, based on your choices, skills, and character, not on a medical condition. This isn't about hiding or ignoring your health challenges. Seeking professional advice and confiding in those you trust is essential for support. But spreading personal health details too widely can create unnecessary stress and change how people relate to you. Stoicism encourages resilience and composure, reminding us that dignity is maintained by how we carry ourselves through life's difficulties. You are far more than any diagnosis or treatment plan. Being selective about what you share isn't secrecy, it's self-respect. When you protect your personal information, you prevent others from defining you in ways that don't reflect your true self. Your health is yours to manage, and by keeping it private, you ensure that you remain in control of your narrative. In a world eager to label and categorize, choosing silence can be a powerful form of strength. 4. Sexuality. There are certain aspects of life that gain value through privacy, and intimacy is one of them. Imagine you're engaged in a casual conversation when someone begins revealing the intimate details of their personal life. What started as lighthearted talk suddenly feels intrusive and uncomfortable. This shift happens because intimacy isn't designed for public consumption. When something deeply personal is casually shared, it loses its specialness and opens the door to unnecessary judgment and commentary. We live in a culture where sharing personal moments online has become second nature. Social platforms encourage us to post everything, from the meals we eat to the most intimate aspects of our relationships. This constant exposure can make it seem like nothing is too personal to reveal. But there's a quiet wisdom in understanding that not everything meaningful needs to be put on display. Genuine connections, those built on trust, love, and vulnerability, don't become more valuable just because more people know about them. In fact, broadcasting the private parts of your life can invite opinions that muddy what should be clear and personal. Consider the strength of relationships that flourish without external validation. Take, for example, two people who have been together for decades. They don't announce their private moments to the world, nor do they seek approval from others. Their bond remains solid because it's nurtured in quiet spaces where trust and understanding grow free from outside interference. When intimate details are kept between the people involved, they become something to treasure, untouched by the distortions of gossip or public scrutiny. Sharing too much about your personal life, especially your most private experiences, can also lead to unwanted consequences. What you reveal with openness may be met with curiosity, but it can just as easily spark judgment, jealousy, or unsolicited advice. Others may misinterpret your experiences or use them to define you in ways that don't reflect who you truly are. Privacy, on the other hand, gives you control over how you're perceived and protects what matters most. There's a profound sense of empowerment in choosing what to keep to yourself. Guarding your personal life doesn't mean you're hiding something. It means you understand that not every part of your story needs an audience. When you hold certain things close, you preserve their integrity and significance. In a time when oversharing is celebrated, choosing to keep aspects of your life private is an act of self-respect. Your personal experiences are yours to cherish, not spectacles to be dissected. In the end, true strength often lies in silence, and some of life's most meaningful moments are best lived quietly, away from the world's gaze. 5. Your deepest fear. Sharing your deepest fears may seem like a way to find comfort, but it can have unintended consequences. Imagine opening up to someone you trust about what keeps you awake at night, fears of failure, loneliness, or past mistakes. In the moment, it feels relieving, like you're unburdening yourself. But people are unpredictable. The same person you confided in might one day use that vulnerability against you, whether intentionally or not. Suddenly, your private struggles become fuel for gossip, criticism, or manipulation. The philosophy of resilience teaches that fear is often a product of our thoughts rather than reality. The more attention you give it, especially by talking about it, the stronger it becomes. Words have power. Speaking about what frightens you can anchor those fears more deeply into your consciousness and offer others insight into your vulnerabilities. Think about individuals who embody quiet strength, those who carry themselves with calm and composure. They rarely speak of what scares them, not because they don't experience fear, but because they know that focusing on it only makes it grow. Keeping your fears to yourself isn't about denial. It's about facing them directly and working through them internally. If you're afraid of failing, the best response is to act anyway. If you fear being alone, invest in becoming comfortable with yourself. If rejection worries you, build resilience through experience. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to move forward despite it. When you keep your fears private, you maintain control over your emotional landscape. You prevent others from using that knowledge in ways that could harm or limit you. Everyone forms opinions, often without knowing your full story. Revealing your insecurities gives others information they don't need and power they shouldn't have. Before speaking about your fears, ask yourself, what is the benefit? What could I be risking? More often than not, the reward of sharing is fleeting, while the potential drawbacks linger. Strength isn't always loud or visible. Sometimes it's found in the quiet determination to confront challenges on your own terms. By facing fears privately and focusing on solutions rather than stories, you cultivate a kind of resilience that doesn't require validation. Holding your fears close allows you to overcome them without unnecessary interference or judgment. In the end, the greatest victories are often the ones fought and won in silence. 6. Your long-term goals. Have you ever shared an exciting goal, only to find your motivation slipping away afterward? It might seem odd. After all, you expect encouragement when you talk about your ambitions. But something subtle happens when you speak of your plans too soon. Your mind starts to believe you've already taken a step forward. This false sense of progress can dull the hunger that drives real action, leaving you feeling less motivated to follow through. Instead of talking about what you aim to accomplish, consider putting all that energy into the work itself. Achievements aren't built through conversations. They're forged through effort, discipline, and consistency. The most accomplished individuals often move quietly, focusing on the process rather than seeking recognition along the way. They understand that announcing goals prematurely can lead to complacency. Real progress isn't about sharing intentions. It's about producing results that speak for themselves. Keeping your goals to yourself also protects you from unnecessary opinions and doubt. While some people might genuinely support you, others may sow seeds of skepticism, sometimes without even realizing it. Comments like, "That sounds difficult," or "Are you sure that's realistic?" can plant hesitation in your mind, pulling you off track. When your ambitions remain private, you sidestep those distractions and maintain full control over your journey. It's tempting to seek validation, especially in a world where sharing milestones online has become routine. But lasting success comes from focusing on the work, not the applause. Instead of telling people you're starting something new, let your progress unfold quietly. Over time, your results will draw attention naturally, and by then, you won't need to explain how you got there. Consider how many remarkable achievements were made without fanfare. Those who stay focused on their path don't waste time broadcasting every step. They let their actions do the talking. You can do the same. Silence doesn't mean you're hiding. It means you're prioritizing what matters: the effort, the growth, and the end result. Keep your ambitions close, stay consistent, and let the outcome tell the story. Success earned in silence is often the most powerful of all. 7. Your past mistakes. Everyone has moments from their past they wish they could rewrite, decisions that didn't work out, or actions that now seem misguided. Carrying the memory of those missteps is part of being human, but how you handle them makes all the difference. While it might feel tempting to share these stories with others in hopes of relief or understanding, doing so often brings more harm than good. What seems like a moment of vulnerability can quickly turn into something you regret exposing. Picture this. You're having a conversation with someone you trust, and you decide to reveal a personal failure. Maybe it's a business venture that collapsed, a relationship that ended badly, or a choice that still weighs on your conscience. Initially, speaking about it feels liberating, like shedding a heavy load. But once that truth is out there, it's beyond your control. Others may hold on to that information long after you've moved on, seeing you through the lens of your past rather than who you've become. There's a reason some of the wisest teachings emphasize the importance of keeping certain experiences to yourself. Mistakes are meant to be lessons, not lifelong labels. Talking about them too freely can unintentionally define you in the eyes of others, limiting how you're perceived. Even people with good intentions can misinterpret or magnify what you share. Worse, in heated moments or shifting relationships, that information can resurface in ways you never anticipated. Rather than revisiting old regrets through words, focus on growth through action. Let the way you carry yourself today reflect how you've evolved. A misstep from years ago doesn't deserve to overshadow your current efforts. Clinging to stories of past failures, or repeatedly discussing them, keeps those wounds open. By choosing to move forward without dragging your past into every conversation, you protect your peace and dignity. Consider how much energy is lost dwelling on things you cannot change. The past is fixed, but the present is fluid. Every choice you make now shapes who you become. Learning from mistakes is essential. Carrying them like baggage is not. Silence doesn't mean avoidance. It signifies maturity. You've acknowledged the lesson, absorbed its wisdom, and redirected your focus toward what's ahead. When you resist the urge to overshare your regrets, you reclaim control over your narrative. Others can only judge what they know. So why hand them the tools to define you by moments that no longer represent who you are? Instead of seeking validation through confession, find empowerment in quiet progress. Strength lies in knowing your past, but refusing to be confined by it. Move forward with intention. Let your actions reveal your growth, and keep your past where it belongs, behind you. 8. Your family problems. Family relationships are often a delicate balance of love, conflict, and shared history. Disagreements are inevitable, no matter how close you are to your relatives. However, how you handle those disagreements can significantly impact the strength of your family bonds. One of the most overlooked, yet essential principles is keeping family matters private. Talking to people outside your family about internal issues may seem like a way to vent frustration or seek advice, but it often creates unintended consequences. Imagine having a heated argument with a sibling or parent. You're upset and decide to share the details with a friend. Initially, it feels like a relief to let it out. But later, even after you and your family have made amends, your friend's perception remains colored by what you shared during that emotional moment. They might judge your family unfairly, holding on to grievances that you've already moved past. What started as a simple conversation becomes a lingering source of misunderstanding that affects how others view your loved ones. Family dynamics are complex and deeply personal. Outsiders, no matter how well-intentioned, rarely understand the full picture. They lack the context of past experiences, the emotional connections, and the unspoken understandings that shape family interactions. When you involve someone outside the family, you invite opinions that may not align with your family's reality. Even casual advice like, "You should distance yourself," or "Why don't you confront them?" can seem helpful in the moment, but often fails to consider the deeper layers of loyalty, love, and long-term relationships that define family ties. Instead of seeking external validation, consider the value of introspection and direct communication. Many disagreements stem from temporary emotions, which can cloud judgment. Taking time to reflect allows you to approach issues calmly, without the influence of outside perspectives that might complicate matters. Honest conversations within the family, though sometimes uncomfortable, are far more effective in resolving conflicts and fostering understanding. There's also a protective aspect to privacy. Once personal matters are shared, you can't control how far they spread or how they're interpreted. What may have been a fleeting disagreement can quickly turn into gossip or unnecessary drama, harming the very relationships you seek to repair. By keeping issues within the family, you safeguard your loved one's dignity and maintain the trust essential for strong relationships. Maintaining privacy isn't about suppressing emotions or pretending everything is fine. It's about respecting the complexity of family bonds and handling conflicts with maturity. Not every frustration needs an audience, and not every problem benefits from external input. Working through challenges quietly allows for growth, forgiveness, and deeper connections without the weight of outside judgment. Ultimately, family life thrives on understanding and patience. When you resist the urge to share personal conflicts with those who aren't directly involved, you not only preserve the integrity of your relationships, but also cultivate inner peace. Handle family issues with care, communicate directly, and give your loved ones the same privacy you'd hope for in return. Some matters are best kept within the walls of your home, because that's where healing truly begins. If this video sparked something within you, we'd love to hear your perspective. Drop a 1 if you found it meaningful, or a 0 if you see things differently. Your voice matters. If you value cultivating inner resilience and thoughtful living, consider supporting us by liking the video and subscribing for more discussions on practical wisdom and lasting life lessons. Stay grounded, stay strong, and always remember, true strength starts from within. We'll see you next time as we explore new ways to deepen understanding and live with greater intention.